Carol.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks.
So our next speaker is Ayşegül Yönet, Senior Cloud Advocate. Hi, where are you joining us from today?
I am joining you from San Francisco. Sorry, my camera is not working at the moment, but well, I'll start sharing my screen very soon, so that shouldn't be a problem.
What time is it for you over there? It's a very international meetup.
That's true. It's 11:50 at the moment here
in the morning.
Yes.
Oh,
what time is
amazing.
it where you guys are?
I've just finished work, so it's about 7:50 for me. So this is my evening.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's 8:50 for me, so 1 hour later.
Thank you for doing this at a time that works very well for us too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is super fun.
Yeah. We're
And
super
Lily,
glad that you're joining.
thank you for having me. Lily, I heard you say you're a circus person too.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I think in the back. I don't know if you could see it.
Oh, is that? What is that?
Oh, a lira. It's a hoop. I don't know.
Oh, a hoop. Amazing. Yeah, I usually do flying trapeze, mostly because it terrifies me, but it's also really fun.
It is really terrifying, but it's
Yes.
fun. You're right.
Amazing. Looking forward to hearing what you have to tell us.
Sure. Yes. Maybe I should start sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. All right. Can you guys see it? I think we have to. All right. I hope this is easy to see because let me try sharing one more time. All right. Okay. I have a really big screen. I hope this is good enough visibility for you. To start with, a little bit about me. I'm a cloud developer advocate at Azure, and I'm focusing on specifically AI and our cognitive services, and also spatial computing, which means things like AR and VR and everything else that's around it. So one thing that I wanted to show you today with TypeScript is the Babylon.js, which is a 3D library that allows you to create these kinds of experiences with AR and VR. And the reason I want to show you this is because it's a really, first of all, it's fun. And the second thing is that it's much easier to get started with, because it does have a playground that you could see over here. So if you go to babylonjs.com, you could learn more about the library. It has tons of tools, but before we get you overwhelmed with the amount of tools, let's look at the documentation. So they recently updated their documentation, and it's really nice. And you can just go to the Get Start With and then create scene and things like that. But the really cool thing about it is also it has all of the samples that you can run instantly. For example, let's look at the WebXR. So for those of you who are not very familiar with WebXR, because it's a very new web API, WebXR device APIs allow you to work with devices which has sensors and things that will allow you to have an immersive experience, like a VR headset or augmented reality on mobile or on a headset as well. So in Babylon.js documentation, if you go to WebXR introduction, For example, you can just click on the link that's right next to it and then take a look at the example. But we will start from the beginning. So this is, I'll make this a little bit bigger. All right, this is our very first scene, and this is our playground. So as you can see, there's a TypeScript and JavaScript tabs. So you can write with either one, and that will work, which is nice. And once you're done, you can save it, and you can use this link to view your application, or you can download it here as well. And then it will download the all of the HTML and the JavaScript or TypeScript files for you, and you can run it wherever you like. Let's get started. We talked about, how it helps to have the types so that you can start building something and then get some clues. And that's a thing that's happening on the playground as well. Let's take a look at what we have so far. As you can see, there's nothing being rendered. So we can run our scene and then see there's nothing. That's because we need a few things to create. First thing we need to create is a scene. You can think of the scene as this stage, and it's an object that holds everything that you have in your 3D scene that's in the canvas. And the second thing that we create is a camera. And the camera is our point of view. Because we are in a 3D world, we are not looking from one perspective. And we have the choice to move, right? So that's why we have a camera, which is going to be the point of view. In this case, we are using a free camera. And if you hover over it, you can see what are the variables that it needs. First thing is the name, is a string, and then second thing is the position. Because we are not in a 2D world anymore, instead of X, Y on a 2D world, we have 3D vectors for positioning, X, Y, and Z. And you don't have to worry too much about it because Babylon makes it really easy to work with vectors, and you don't actually have to know how that works. And finally, that's the scene. So scene is our JavaScript object, right, that holds together everything. And we are giving the scene because we want to add the camera to that particular scene. And once we have that camera, right now we have X, Y, and Z position defined. Then we have to, this is the location of the camera, and then we have to point the camera, right? Because you could be looking at any other direction from the camera being in the same spot. So this line 9 is doing that. We are setting the camera target to vector 0, which means the center of the world for Babylon or any 3D world. So it's going to be 0, 0, 0 position, X, Y, and Z. And then we are attaching the camera control to the canvas. This allows us to actually being able to move the camera on our scene, but we can't really see it because we don't have anything in the scene so far. Another important thing is to create a lighting for your scene. So this is a little bit different than normal front-end development because everything is a 3D, and you have to think of it as a kind of like a set design or a theater production instead of just HTML. So basically, we have the scene, which is the stage, and we have the camera view, which we would have, and then we have to have lighting, and then we have to have some actors or objects to see on the scene. So if you don't have lighting, it's going to be still dark, so we won't see anything at all. So we have the hemisphere lighting, which takes a name, direction, and a scene to be added to. So we have that, and we set the intensity of it. It's a value between 0 and 1, and you can make it as intense as you like. And finally, let's create a shape so we can see it. Okay, I'm going to just call it a shape. And as you can see, I'm getting type, like, how do I create this? I don't have to think about it. I can start writing, and then I can see like what I can do. This is a great way to discover the whole library too. Mesh Builder, let's see what it does. And then it has methods that's called create box and create all kinds of different interesting stuff. Let's create one. And then save it and then run it. What happened? Okay, so it was asking us to give it a name. String, not going to. And options for shape. All right, I'm going to create something a little bit more straightforward, like a box, I think. All right, and we need the name, and everything else seems to be optional. If you look at the options here, size, there's a question mark next to it. That means that this is an optional thing. You don't have to. Width, there's a question mark. That means that's optional. Height is optional. Depth is optional. And then face UVs, this is something to do with how we define the textures on top of it. And it seems like we don't have to do any of it. Right. Okay. So let's see. We run. Side orientation undefined. Okay. So apparently I did miss the side orientation. But it seems like, all right. I failed on that one too. Oh, okay. So one of the things I should mention is that currently the playground is running the very latest. So there are some maybe breaking changes that I'm not aware of. And this playground is using that. But if you go to the right side, you can go to the latest version that has that I know that is the stable version. So I'm going to create a sphere. I think the second thing that, well, I'm looking at the options, the segments, diameter, all of these are optional, it seems. Arc number. Okay. Hopefully that I'm not missing anything, and this would run. I think it's still trying to run the previous version. All right. Let's take a look. We have the mesh builder create sphere here, and what we are not doing. The segments were optional, actually. I don't know why it's asking, but let's copy and paste it here and see what happens. All right. Okay. That's interesting. Maybe the diameters were Let me delete these and try it one more time. And well, this could be a bug here too. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So now we have a sphere, and then as you can see, we positioned it a little further down. What happens if we position it to 0? It just comes a little bit closer. The reason is that because our depth of our camera is -10, so we are able to see anything between -10 and 0. Let's put it to -10. And then we're not able to see. The reason I'm trying to show you this is because in some cases, we do put the camera to the 0 position and then point it to another vector. Let's switch this one. And then it's confusing because we don't see it where it goes. And if that happens, then then it might be because of the positioning. Okay. So Babylon vector 0. We have an error. Oh, okay, missing a parentheses. Minus. All right, I'm not going to mess this. I'm going to go back to the previous one, which was correct. And vector 3 and 0. All right. Our ball is down there, and we can't really see it. Let's put it back to 1. All right. Cool. So this is our scene now. You can take a look at the JavaScript version as well, and download that one if that makes you happier. I think we are having some issues with the playground. We'll see. All right. Okay. And let's download and take a look at what we have here. Okay. So it is an HTML file with some JavaScript built into it. If you take a look at the elements, what we have is the canvas, and this is where our scene is attached. And unfortunately, it's not as easy as debugging any other of the HTML scenes because it's mostly JavaScript, but you can always put breakpoints. And well, as I mentioned, the cool thing about Babylon.js is that now you can create mobile or headset WebXR experiences, immersive experiences. So let's take a look at some of the examples that we have here. Let's see. Okay. Here we do have the same things so far. We have a scene, we have a camera, we set a target, and we attach the controllers. And then what we have is an XR experience, async experience, and then we enable some of the features. So there are different features that, depending on the device, you might want to enable or not enable. The reason we are not seeing anything over here is because first, there's no object. And the second reason is that because this is not a XR device, it's just a browser, right, on my desktop. So this one is looking for WebXR hit test. So it's looking to see if at any point we are hitting any object with this. Well, I guess this might not be the best to show. Let's see the, well, let's give it a try. Okay, so trying out the augmented reality is also a little bit challenging. First of all, you need a device. In this case, I have a Pixel 4 that is enabled, that has AR capabilities, so AR Core or AR Kit. And also you have to enable your phone to be a developer in a developer mode. It depends on what phone that you have, so you have to Google it. But it's very interesting handshake. So every time to get started, I have to go to the settings and about, and then tap 7 times and then developer mode pops out. Once I do that, I have to run my experience somewhere. It could be on your local device. And then go to Chrome Inspect Devices. So this used to be part of the Chrome DevTools. Now it's its own tab. And here you can forward your local development environment, like local host, to your device. First thing that you need to do is to enable port forwarding if you're running in your local host. If it's 7,000, you have to put the 7,000 and that one here too. So for each port, you have to do that. And once you connect it through a cable, then you can open up the localhost scenes here, or you can copy and paste any of the scenes as well. Okay. So I'm going to open it on the Chrome Dev and going to click open, and it should open on my device. It's open, and once that happens, I can click on inspect to see what is running on my phone. So this little key thing on the right side is the way that we go into WebXR experiences. You have to always ask for users' permission before you go into a VR or AR mode. I can click on my phone or click here, either way. It should work. And then it's asking me to allow the camera usage because augmented reality requires camera. And I'm trying to find a plane. It usually works on planes so much better. Oh, you're not able to see. Oh my. Oh, this is going to be hard, but I'll try it again. Let's see. I don't know if you're able to see. It's very small for me to see, but there is a little donut shape in there, which we are not able to see it over here. Normally, you do see what's on your phone as well. So anytime we hit a surface, then we create that thing and to say you can put any 3D object to this location. Yeah, it's unfortunate that I wasn't able to show it to you, but I have some screencasts on my GitHub as well that you can take a look. I think this is one of the YouTube videos with the details of how to make that work. All right. So this is a really cool way of getting started with TypeScript and playing with it on the web and not have to worry about it. But if you would prefer to use it, well, build something with it in your own project, I have a few projects on my GitHub that you can take a look with the videos that explains what it is. And I'm actually using a starter from one of the Babylon.js contributors, and he has a really cool Babylon.js Webpack ES6 starter, so you don't have to start from scratch. And other than that, I do have lots of resources for you if you are interested in mixed reality. Again, on my GitHub. It's called Mixed Reality Resources, and it shows you where you can find assets, how you can create things, and all of the cool examples of mixed reality as well. If you go to the frequently asked questions, for example, you can take a look at lots of different mixed reality experiences that you can start building from. And yep. I would like to answer some questions if you have now.
Thank you, Ayşegül. It was amazing. And the playground looks really nice. And your whole demo, it was really cool. We have a bunch of questions for you. So let me start with the first one. What are the use cases for Babylon? Is it only a modeling and rendering engine? Or can you make games with it as well?
It is a game engine, so you can actually create games, full-blown games, and there are lots of examples on the website too. You can start from them, and also mixed reality experiences as the ones mentioned. So some of the cool like augmented reality applications is, I think from IKEA has one. Where you can actually put a model of like 3D model of a furniture and then take a look in your own house, which is really cool. But yeah, you can create the games. And they do even have some resources for you in terms of 3D models or 3D animated models of the characters too, which is nice.
Okay, thank you very much. Lily, you are muted.
Thank you so much. I have a question for myself. I'm just curious, how does this compare to something like Three.js? What makes it different?
It is actually the same. And people do ask me that question all the time. And honestly, I don't know what is different. So there are some of the things would be probably there is node-based programming thing for textures and things like that. And WebXR, I mean, Three.js might not have that. But in terms of the basic capabilities, they are doing the same thing. And it depends on like which one you feel more comfortable with, I guess.
I think we also have a question, which is, how and when did you find out about Babylon? What got you hooked?
Oh, I actually found out really late. I heard it, like I start with Three.js. That's what I start building with. I think TypeScript was the thing that made me hook, because I was working with Angular a lot, and Angular is TypeScript, and at the time it was hard for Three.js modules to be imported and things. It was hard to get it to work with TypeScript project at the time. But thankfully, right now, Three.js is also written in TypeScript, and Babylon.js is written in TypeScript. So they're both great options. Yeah. And
thank you.
I think Babylon.js is a really great community. I mean, not that Three.js doesn't. They have a lot of examples and such too. But I am able to go and ask them questions, and they have this. They are trying to not close all of the issues in a day or so. Like most in a week, they would fix your problem if you have a problem going forward.
Okay, actually, we had a similar question about the community. What's the community like around this project? We partially answered this question.
It is an open source project, but it is actually supported by Microsoft. But let's say Microsoft decides to do something with all of its open source. Still, Babylon is separate and its own individual thing. And the good part about it is that it belongs to the people, right? Not a company. But at the same time, being in a company, they do have the resources, and they have a lot of applications internally using Babylon.js. One of the fun one is PowerPoint. So now you can put 3D animated things on PowerPoint, and you don't have to write any code at all, which is fun.
Thank you. We've been curious and snooping around a little bit on GitHub. What is the upcoming V5 release about?
I'm not sure actually, because V4, it's been 3 months, I guess, and they do have a new version every 6 months. One thing I'm usually focused on is WebXR capabilities. And they just come out with lots of new ones with the 4.0, but there's a lot more. And since WebXR device APIs are very new, they're changing all the time. So I'm sure they will have some fixes on that part, that things that changed. So that's also a good thing about using Three.js or Babylon.js, right? When these kind of changes happens, when things are new, they do fix it for you. They change things when the APIs change, and you don't have to worry about it. You can use your code, write your code the same way, which is nice. Yeah, one thing that was new was hand interactions for devices like Oculus or HoloLens. You can use your hand to interact with objects, and that was really cool. Hopefully, there will be more new features.
Cool, thank you. So the next question is, does Babylon take care of a different browser capabilities and different connection bandwidths, rendering on a lower resolution when needed, and in general, how does this work?
I don't think they do deal with lower resolution when it's in a different device, but as a developer, you have the chance to do that. For different browsers, they do, but at the same time, for example, again, WebXR is new, and there's a polyfill that if you are interested, that you can add, and they specifically leave it out of the general because they don't want to make your bundle bigger. So you have the choice of including that polyfill library, and that will cover most of the browsers. One thing that is problematic is iOS devices, because WebXR in general doesn't work, but the canvas, regular 2D or 3D canvas things work pretty well.
Great. I have a few more questions, if you don't mind. You mentioned mixed reality. I'm wondering if you have any cool projects that you are really into that you want to share with us.
Sure. Well, I'm actually part of the WebXR device API W3C group. I'm one of the chairs, so that it's very exciting for us, and we're about to release the candidate recommendation very soon. We are working on that, and it's really exciting. Other than that, I don't work as much as I used to, but I work with HoloLens. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's augmented reality glass that allows you to, interact with your environment, plus see additional informations. Like I might be walking around and see some object, and then see a tutorial about how to use it, which is really cool. So I worked on a little tool that kind of teaches you how to create mixed reality experiences, and talks about how you think through designing it. And you can find the link on my GitHub first page. There are these funny GIFs. The one on the right, that says hand tracking, that's the link to the application. If you have a HoloLens, you can give it a try.
Amazing, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm co-hosting WebXR meetups, and we have been doing a series of project development with A-Frame. So A-Frame is another library on top of Three.js, and it's declarative. So it's basically you have different HTML tags, and you can put them together and create an experience, which is really, really cool.
Awesome. And it's really amazing. You have so many resources on Babylon. So that's really awesome. Can't wait to check out your GitHub. Do we have any other questions? Lily, do you want to add something or ask something?
I think we might have finished all the questions.
Yes, and if you wanted to see the link to the meetup, I think I have a link to from my GitHub page, YONET, but also you can search for SF meetup. Okay, I do have a bit.ly link too, WebXR meetup, bit.ly/WebXR meetup, right here. And you can watch the previous sessions on WebXR YouTube.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks a lot again for your presentation and for sharing with us all the resources and all the information about Babylon. I think right now we are moving to our last talk for today by our